All right, this seemed like such a better idea when I initially thought of it than it does right now. That's for damn sure. This is the Baba Yaga, and I'm here to ruin your whole fucking day. Oh, all right. Oh my god. So, I want to talk about Christopher Nemelka. Now, most of you probably don't know who the fuck Christopher Nemelka is. If you happen to know who he is, that's fucking amazing. Good job, good meme, guys. Those of you who know who the fuck Christopher Nemelka is. Hopefully, I am as charitable and like as honest as possible because I pride myself on honesty. I really, really do. I like to be accurate in my communication and not say shit that isn't true. So that's part of why I'm doing this is because I've been on a little binge lately watching everything I can about Christopher Melka and the people who talk about him. And there's a lot of people who are critical of Christopher Nemelka and have no idea what the fuck he is about and are critical of him for all the wrong reasons. Okay. And then there's a ton of people who support Christopher Nemelka who have no idea what the fuck he's about and support him for all the wrong reasons, at least as far as I can perceive. And it seems to me, as of late, that he is on a binge of like. Why am I using the word binge twice in very different contexts? That whatever. It seems like he is currently doing a rebrand. He seems to have done this several times over the course of his career, I guess you could say. He's erased all his shit off the internet, so good luck finding anything about what I'm talking about to substantiate my claims. If you aren't already aware of this, you might be able to find like old records somewhere. Hopefully, he puts his old shit back on because I honestly love all of his old stuff, even though you have to like really take it from a really different kind of viewpoint to get it. I think. Definitely don't read his shit literally. Or maybe do. Maybe that's the right answer for you. I don't know. Don't listen to me. Who the fuck said that I know anything? I'm an idiot. All I'm doing is what I want to do, and if you don't like it, then go away. So, who is Christopher Nemelka, and why is he causing me to be so this video? Okay, so context. It's going to be a lot of context. So if you don't like context, then bye. Good. See you later, or never. I don't care. Because I feel like in order to communicate properly who this guy is, you have to understand the mindset of where he is coming from. And I just happen to be lucky enough that I was born Mormon. That's a phrase I never thought I'd utter again. So I understand this bent he's on, his perspective, his particular way of doing things is based in a Mormon theology. Mormonism is a very oh my fucking god. It's the spiders and the dragons up there. Okay, so Mormonism is a very magical philosophy or theology, I guess you could say. They believe in real miracles and God and all this stuff, like Christians, but Christians are less magical, I feel like, than Mormons. Christians tend to not truly believe in miracles in the way that Mormons do. Angels like visiting people, there's more of a mythology to it, whereas Mormonism has brought this into nearly the modern day with like the going west is considered a miraculous event for them, and surviving the winter months and like stuff as they came to Utah, it's considered this big miracle, and that the hand of God was in it. Whereas I think Christianity has lost a lot of that realness to the magical thinking, I guess you could say. And because of this, they have a predisposition to certain kinds of ideas. Within the Mormon theology, there are like magical artifacts which they accept exist. One of them is called the Urim and Thummim. If you are like way into the Bible, you might know what that is. I think it's referenced in the Bible in one place, but every Mormon knows what the Urim and Thummim is, whereas within Christianity, almost no Christians know what that is, and so that's like a magical artifact that is known to exist at some point in Mormon mythology. The golden plates, another mystical object which is known to exist according to Mormons. Angels coming onto the earth. These are known events, known things to have occurred according to Mormon theology. So you have to come at Christopher Nemelka with this mindset. If you do not have this mindset, a lot of what he was doing, especially with the Mormon directed things, are not going to make sense. And because he is one person, he has like, how should I say this? He has like multiple things that he's doing for multiple people. And the stuff he does for Mormonism is different than the stuff he does for the mainstream Christians, which is different from the stuff that he's doing from just humanitarians, which is different from the stuff he's doing for atheists and so on and so forth. He has a different set of like praxis for each individual group, but he has one message, one specific message, and a lot of the people who criticize him don't take into account this idea of meeting people where they are and trying to like help them there. It doesn't make sense, for instance, to criticize Christopher Nemelka's claim as being the reincarnation of Hiram Smith from the perspective of Christianity. It makes no sense to do that. That is the wrong thing to do. If you're going to criticize his claim of being the reincarnation of Hiram Smith, let's give that some context, since no one knows who the hell Hiram Smith is. Hiram Smith is the brother of Joseph Smith. Joseph Smith was the founder of Mormonism. The first prophet, 1870 something. I don't fucking remember. Mormonism. Hiram Smith. So he has made the claim that he is the reincarnation of Hiram Smith. And I will go as far as to say as that he is the reincarnation of Hiram Smith as far as it matters today, because what is information but what is reality but just what we base on our information? And on Hiram Smith's grave, it says that Christopher Nemelka is the reincarnation of Hiram Smith. Therefore, who am I to argue? It's a fact, okay? It's a verifiable fact. Go to Hiram Smith's grave marker. You'll see his name written there. It's just true now, okay? So, it makes no sense to attack this claim from the standpoint of mainstream Christianity, because mainstream Christianity puts no weight in the idea of Hiram Smith. Hiram Smith doesn't mean anything to a mainstream Christian. This idea means something to Mormons, okay? So you have to attack it from the principles of Mormonism. And he has done a good job at making his claims. He has translated the the sealed portion of the Book of Mormon. Now, what is the sealed portion of the Book of Mormon? What is the Book of Mormon? The Book of Mormon is a book which, okay, we're not talking about what mainstream Christians believe it to be. We're not talking about what secularists think it to be. We're talking about what Mormons think the Book of Mormon is. Okay, the Book of Mormon is a book that was translated by by Joseph Smith through the power of God to be a word to Christians and Gentiles and Jews and Gentiles on the earth today, to bring them closer to Christ. It is, quote, another testament of Jesus Christ. It is equally, although most Mormons would probably put more faith in the Book of Mormon than the Bible, but roughly synonymous with the Bible. They believe in the Bible too. Don't try to be one of those Christian people who's like, the Mormons don't even believe in the Book of Mormon, in the Bible. Yes, they do. Okay. It makes no sense to attack Mormonism from a Christianity perspective either. The only way you can attack Mormonism is from a Mormon perspective. And now we have come full circle. What was the purpose of the sealed portion? The sealed portion is, okay, the Book of Mormon was translated by this gold plates, okay? Joseph Smith had these gold plates and translated it, but left a portion of it was like bound by like physically locked. He could not open it, and so he could only translate the first part. There was like some people that like they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, because in addition to the sealed portion, there's also the lost manuscript. That was the account of Lehi. This is not the sealed portion. If you're gonna make that, fucking do your research. Fucking people who argue against Christopher Nemelka and Mormonism generally, who know nothing about what the fuck they're talking about, do a little bit of research. There was a lost manuscript. It was gone. Mormons fully accept that it was just lost, and that by wisdom of God, that's what Joseph Smith said it was. He wasn't going to try to translate that portion again. He could have, but he wasn't going to, because he knew. Okay, so the criticism for the lost portion. I'm sorry, this is like jumping around a lot. There's a lot here, and I really want everything to be in its place. So it's a bad idea. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that it's just a jumbled mess. The lost portion, the idea was that if he could translate it again exactly word for word as it was translated the first time, we would know for a fact that he is a prophet of God. But Joseph Smith knew, and God knew, that these people were criminally minded, and they wanted to disparage him no matter what. If he was a real prophet, they would not want to actually know that was the case, because that would be too dangerous. So they were going to alter it. I remember when I first heard about this when I was young, I was like, but why wouldn't he just translate it again? They were like, well, because they were going to change things. And then when he would translate it again, word for word, it would be different because they changed things, not him. I was like, oh, okay. And this is what they believe, okay? It doesn't matter what you believe. It matters what they believe. So the lost manuscript, whatever. Book of Mormon, neither of those are the sealed portion. The sealed portion was never revealed. It was held for a later time when the full truth would be revealed. And Christopher Nemelka is the person who is chosen in our current modern day to bring forth the sealed portion to the condemnation of the Mormons. Now, what is in the sealed portion? I've not read the whole thing, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My honesty can only go so far, but I know what the sealed portion is about, because the sealed portion is not about Mormonism. It is written from the perspective of Mormonism for Mormons so that they stop being Mormon. Okay, it's kind of like a disillusionment manifesto, I guess you could say. And he's come out and said stuff like this, that he wrote it himself. He wrote it as a thing to show that the way Joseph Smith brought about the Book of Mormon was not like a true way. Like, it wasn't by the gift of God, it was by the power of a man. And he said things like this. He's also said that he's done it through like things like stone, like he's used the words like he had a cell phone that got text messages, and he wrote down the text messages essentially from advanced humans, gods, I guess you could say. He's written a biography of Joseph Smith, by his account, as the authorized biography of Joseph Smith, because he's the only person who is capable of writing such a document. All the history of Joseph Smith is bullshit. He's the only one who knows. And that's to like get someone who's more into the history of Joseph Smith to like reveal the techniques that Joseph Smith was using to get his message across, and what his message was, and why he did the things he did, and how the church that Joseph Smith never set up in the first place was founded, and why it's taken the direction it is, and how Mormonism as it is today is an abomination to God, and all this stuff. So that's the general gist, okay? But there is a theology there. And this is what I find to be fascinating, is the theology. Christopher Nemelka's theology. There's this idea of reincarnation, and who we are on the earth today is just like a shadow of what we are. We are like advanced humans, is the phrase he uses a lot in certain contexts. I have read one of the book To the Atheists, which talks a lot about this idea of, where we're from isn't here, we're from somewhere else. And this is like you should read this stuff, but unfortunately it's kind of all gone now. It's very interesting, and I kind of understand the ideas behind it, like reincarnation. Okay, why is reincarnation an interesting fundamental to add to our current understanding of the universe? If we were to add the idea that our spirit is persistent, like who I am as a person, like my core central like being is a persistent thing. Even if you kill me, my core like being still exists and will just pop up again and again. This is an interesting fundamental to add to our view of humanity. And the reason it's interesting is because it makes it so that the solutions people generally turn to are not viable solutions. So, for instance, you see a lot of people on both the left and the right whose solution to like the Jewish question, just kill them all. If you kill all the Jews, then you don't have a Jewish question anymore. The Jewish question has been solved. Well, if you add in the idea of reincarnation, then you didn't really solve it, did you? Like, they just pop up again in a different form somewhere else, because who they are fundamentally is still around. Same thing with like leftists wanting to kill the bourgeoisie. Well, if the bourgeoisie, the 1% are really the problem, then getting rid of them doesn't solve it. You need a different solution. because they'll just pop up again and again and again. And it doesn't matter if this is true or not, okay? Nemelka fans, it doesn't matter if this idea is true or not, okay? It would be cool if it was true. I personally, this is like one of the theologies that I think would be the most interesting, is if I was basically playing a video game and I just continuously respawned in different bodies over and over and over again. I mean, it brings up the question of why in the hell am I playing such a shit game in the first place? Or why am I doing this? But, you know, whatever. I'm doing it for some reason. But that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I believe that or not. What's interesting is that it changes the way you have to address the fundamental problems of society. And this is the point. The point isn't to create a religion. It isn't to create a theology that is different. It's not to make everyone believe in the same God. It's not to make everyone follow Nemelka as a cult leader. If you take from Christopher Nemelka's writings and stuff that he is the true messenger of God and the only person with the answers, and he is receiving divine inspiration from God, I think you kind of missed the point. I think his body of work speaks to the fact that he's just a dude, okay? He's just a dude who happened to understand something about the way the world works that most people don't get. And most people don't get it, okay? Most people spend their whole lives just doing what they're told to do and never questioning anything. Very few people have this experience where they begin questioning fundamental things about their lives, entering the void, as it were. I have lived in this void. I have sought it out, and I'm there now. I've become the Baba Yaga. I live in hell. You don't have to come here. I can just tell you what's here, and you can just turn around and go back, okay? But Christopher Nemelka refers to this understanding, as it were, as having had a brain fart, and I think that's pretty accurate to say. I feel like I've had a brain fart. It happened about a year ago to me, where I had this just snap understanding, and I talked to my girlfriend about it, and laid it all out for her in like this 3-hour like diatribe, and she was like, "This is how religions start," and I was like, "I know." I know this is how religions start. The problem is communicating all of this in such a way that a religion doesn't start. And I believe this is Nemelka's problem right now, is he has developed this fanatical fan base who believe he is a prophet, essentially, that he like he's the only one who has answers for them in their personal lives, where that's antithetical to most of what he's put out. From what I've read and what I've seen, it seems like his general thesis on how you should live your life is do whatever makes you happy. Just, try not to hurt people, like love each other, and that's it. Essentially, like, don't cause problems for other people, and what else is there? Like, general people aren't the real problem. I mean, they are the real problem, because the apathy and the seeking after more than they have, and desiring to live beyond their means. This is all very, very tragic behavior that needs to stop. But like, no one can tell you what you're supposed to do with your life. Even if there was a prophet who knew everything, whatever, who had divine guidance. It's like, who are they to tell you what you're supposed to do? You are your own God. Just go do whatever you're gonna do. Like, no one can stop you. And he's like trying to rebrand into this idea of the Illuminati now, which I find quite fascinating. I kind of wish. Okay, I did email him. I emailed him and was like, I would love to work with you because I feel like he is missing a huge segment of his potential audience in the younger generations. He seems to be focusing mostly on boomers, and that makes sense. He is a boomer. So yeah, he doesn't have the perspective of the younger generations, which is fair, I guess. But I feel like the ideas that he has could really see a lot of mainstream appeal in the modern leftist movements of today, especially the Humanity Party. I think this was his message to YouTube, the YouTube like sphere of people. The Humanity Party is also disappeared off the internet for the most part, but it's just like this plan that is essentially like a social welfare program for people where you give everyone a card, a humanity card, and your criteria for getting a card is you're a human, and you can use this card to buy food and basic clothing and rent and nothing else, essentially. So everyone would have the basic needs for life, and you'd be able to distribute this to, first just like, maybe a city, then maybe a state, then, the whole country, and then other countries as well. And you back it by the World Bank, essentially. Where do you get the money? You print the money. That's where all the money comes from. Stop printing money for guns and start printing money for humans, instead of using the machinery of society for war and death and destruction. You use the machinery of society for life and liberty and pursuit of happiness, which is a great idea. I think that this particular platform could work. And I would be totally behind, like, going with it, like, supporting it and driving it forward, running for office under this party. But it's way not a thing, I guess you could say. There's no, like, organization. There's no community behind it. It's just like this idea out in the ether. And the message of the Humanity Party is the same as the message of the sealed portion. It's the same as the message of all these other things. In essence, it's the same message as the Bible. It's the same message as the Quran. It's the same message as everything since the dawn of time. And that is, why are we killing each other, and why don't we, like, help each other and, like, strive together and cooperate instead of compete? But no, there's no hope. And he's said this on streams several times, but they're all deleted now. So good luck ever hearing him say this. That there's no hope for the future. Our real selves have given up on us. So that's cool. That's cool. Why am I talking about this? think that there is still hope. I'm not totally sold on the idea that we're absolutely doomed to just destruction. If that is the case, who cares? Nihilism is a thing, and we're all going to die eventually anyway. If there's something beyond this mortal coil, then, well, I can't see it now, so why worry about it? And if there's not, then why worry about it? I would prefer that humanity continue, and maybe that's just sentimentality. That's just my own ego, my own like selfish desire, and maybe humanity does need to be purged. My girlfriend is of the philosophy that humanity is a lost cause and should be purged morally. It's not just like justifiable, but it's morally the only right thing to do. I'm not totally sold on that because I like things that we've done, and I think that's enough justification for humans to exist. Is I like the things we've done. Some of them. I like anime. I think if all that we've got out of the human experiment was a few good anime, then it was worth it. All the suffering for serial experiments Lane and Gao Gai Gar, yeah, I'll make that trade. I'm laughing because it's ridiculous, but also because I kind of think it's true. And there is a case to be made that suffering does breed the best art. So, maybe suffering is just the right way the whole time. Maybe we should all be accelerationists and bring more suffering about in the world. There's plenty of people who are trying to make the world a better place, but are there enough people who aren't just inept and causing problems, but who are actively detrimental and unabashed about it? I mean, Trump borders on this, I think, but I'm not really sure. There may be a part of him who thinks he's doing the right thing. Anyway, how long has this video been? It's been 30 minutes. For some reason, I thought this would take like way longer to go and describe, but apparently I was able to get through it pretty quickly. I'm not sure how understandable any of this was for people. If you have any questions about Mormon theology, Christopher Nemelka, what the fuck a brain fart is, you'll notice I didn't really talk about his claims about being part of being approached by advanced humans from other worlds who have been around for hundreds of years and wrote the New Testament. You'll know. I don't think he believes that's true. If Christopher Nemelka wants to come on and say that he actually does believe in these things, I would love to hear that. We could talk theology, but I really I'm skeptical, and yeah, I don't see any reason why I shouldn't be, but I agree with everything he says. Absolutely everything. He is the reincarnation of Hiram Smith. He is the true messenger on the earth today, and you should like and subscribe to his YouTube that has no videos on it because he deleted all of them, or at least made them all hidden. I don't know if he deleted them or not. I will go on the record at this point and say that by hiding all of your blog posts and every video you've made, you have committed a an act, like a human rights violation. Information should be free. You're a boomer and think that information belongs to you, but you're wrong, okay? Information doesn't belong to you. It belongs to everyone. And by removing information, you are removing the memories of humanity, and you need to stop doing that. Your followers are fucking retarded, and they don't understand what you're doing. Yeah, so that's all I wanted to say. Have a good day, etc. I love you. Have fun. Bye.